Are we catching a falling knife? I was doing this with Jenna and she was like, you're literally going to stab yourself. So just going to put that down. When is the housing market going to crash? Is there a crash coming? OMG bananas, right? So I get this conversation every single day. We've had it for years. And why have we had it? Well, prices have been going up really for over 10 years, and that is a very, very long span. Now, a lot of us still remember the time back in 08, 07, 09 when it did crash, right? But I want to look at that formula and look at today's formula. Now, look, no one has a crystal ball, right? I got a magic 8 ball on my desk and ask it a question. Maybe it's going to know. However, if we look at the past, we can typically predict in general what's going to happen for the future. So what happened in the past? What we had was certainly prices escalating and escalating and escalating. Why did we have that? Money was cheap. Why was money cheap? Because money was being lent to folks for whom did not qualify for those mortgages. And those mortgages were not very well explained. I mean, I can tell you some very not cool things I saw a lot of people do, lying to clients, misleading them. I mean, it was just not okay, right? So you had a lot of folks that did stated income loans. Now, stated income, in my opinion, does have a place, especially for the self-employed borrower that y'all write a lot of things off on your taxes that us little W-2 people can't do, right? But I literally would see applications where folks were a landscape designer, they had $30,000 in the bank and they made $50,000 a month, right? Like that doesn't really make sense, right? So we had these loans that were given without verification, that were very, very variable, right? And based on payments that people couldn't afford, payments that were less than the interest due, payments that extended the term longer than a 40-year term, right? We had all these crazy loans. So what happened was people could start not affording their loans and they were over leveraging. They were also getting loans for more than 100% loan to value. Like, oh, we can lend you up to 125% of your property to this amazing line of credit. So they were borrowing more than the actual worth. That is not the recipe we have today. We have certainly been seeing prices increase because, frankly, we have not made enough housing in America for decades. We have 140 million eligible borrowers for home ownership. We're talking people that don't own property, that could own property, that seem to qualify. But we built 5.8 million houses in the past 10 years. That math does not make sense. So we have a low supply. You also have people that are saying, well, if I sell here, where am I going to move? So they're not willing to sell. You also have people that can move. There's a lot of folks that are like, hey, look, I've been vacationing there for years. I'm tired of living in this area that I live in now. I want to be able to spend more time in Central California. I want to spend more time in Carpinteria where I live, right? So we're going to buy a second home. So you have that demand. So we have increased demand from folks that can work remotely, that are tired of living and just waiting for the future and just going to go for it. And then we also have increased demand from what was been cheaper mortgage rates for the past couple of years. But we're seeing these loans as fixed rates. I mean, we have only about 43 loans in the system right now, and there's like 3 that are adjustable, right? But we're seeing long-term fixed rate. So we're not going to create this instability that would cause a big supply. Demand will continue to be there because there isn't enough supply for how many people are on the market. And so therefore, I do not think a crash is coming. Will prices regulate? Of course. Everything is in cycles. Have we hit the top? Probably, but is it not going to come crashing down? No. I am working on different workshops right now, and one that I'm really digging on with a CPA friend of mine is, where do we invest our money? Looking at California real estate from the National Association of Realtors for the past 10 years, what does that look like? Looking at from the S&P 500, which is the most stable investment vehicle that there is, what does that look like? Looking at from a tax deduction, what does that look like? Because the question remains, if you like it and you can afford it, you buy it. We are not creating enough supply. So therefore, I don't think we're going to see a big crash. Let me know what I can do to help you or anyone else that's also at Homeowners Financial. Make it a great day.